Not enough nonsense in your life? Need a little more? Well, get ready, because these two have it in spades.
Yes, I do.
Loose talk.
What are you talking about? Nonsense.
Even looser opinions.
Please explain.
And you're along for the ride.
Everybody strap in.
This is The Burble with Benny and Az.
Hello, welcome to The Burble. We are back again. Hello, my name is Benny.
My name is Az.
And joining us in the studio this evening for once, hasn't done one in quite a while. Hello to Miss Jena. Hello to you.
Hello.
And we, again, are in lockdown. Of course, Miss Jena and I live together because, you know, Fonse.
In sin.
Yeah. What do you mean in sin?
Well, you haven't married her yet.
Yeah, but who cares about all that? Stop breathing on your microphone too.
Am I breathing?
Yeah, just breathing on the microphone. It's disgusting in my ears, and I don't like it, mate.
Oh, you don't like it.
Anyway, we're still in lockdown. Any note on when this lockdown thing's going to be finished yet? Are we like 1 or 2 weeks away for us?
Who knows, bro? Like, apparently the magic number's going to roll around sometime in bloody October.
Ugh.
But people have got to stop bloody catching coronavirus. Like, they're not going to let us out because our bloody LGA just keeps hooking into the Rona, bro. Like, every day is 5 or 6 people with it.
Yeah, we got to stop that shit.
I don't even remember what the inside of the pub looks like, man.
No.
And it's like pub Alzheimer's.
The closest
you know,
I've
like,
gotten to the pub was a Carlton Draft ad that they keep recycling on.
Yeah, or the drive-through bottle shop where you can almost kind of peek around and see the pub behind it, but not really.
No. Anyway,
it's not the same.
Look, I did note that at the beginning of last podcast, the last episode of The Burble, I said I don't want to talk about the whole virus and vaccinations and all that kind of thing. And then what did we do? We ended up using the whole podcast to talk about it. So I will apologise. But, however, Az and I have gone through and trawled the internets, the interwebs once again for your weekly dose of nonsense, of stupidity from the internet. So
I reckon we got some good shit this week too.
Oh, yeah. For example, now, shops in Wales, they're warning parents and warning their staff about selling baked beans to children because of a new craze which is happening because of TikTok. That's right. Baked beans.
Bloody TikTok.
Yeah, exactly right.
At least it's not washing powder.
They've moved off washing powder. They've now gone into the pantry itself. As we're going back to the emergency room, because I really know, I know that you love it when we go back to the emergency room. That is going to be happening. About a man who's found an entire new use for a mobile phone. That's coming up. Unfortunate story coming out of Canada, because we all at the moment just love our drive-through, contactless and all that kind of thing. Well, a bloke has been crushed to death by his own vehicle at the Macca's drive-through somewhere in
Bloody
Canada.
hell.
I know, it's pretty hardcore. Jenna, what would you do if you go into Macca's, right, and you ordered the breakfast, the bacon and egg roll, whatever it's called, the bacon and egg McMuffin for breakfast, right? You go in and organise that, and you find a nipple in your bacon roll.
Oh, I'd ask for either a free hash brown or a refund.
Yeah, well, there's a bloke that's found it. So McDonald's is copping a little bit. Like last week, we were talking about the ice cream machine. This week, it's nipples and death down there. Nipples and death down there at...
Sounds like a good album, actually.
A Utah woman has basically loses her hair and her dignity and her confidence in one go when she was scammed over the phone to shave her head. So not only these days can they take money from you, but they can trick you into shaving your head. That is coming up. You know how at the moment the whole thing in Hollywood is reboot, or let's redo this, or let's do a sequel, and all of these sequels, no one really asked for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, another one is happening, and you're not going to like it. It is the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life.
As long as it's not The Matrix, because that trailer looks pretty sick.
It does look very sick, and The Matrix was on today. I watched it in ultra-high definition. It was great. Now, 40% of people are saying that they would have sex with a robot in a new study that's come out. And also as well, a deprived of work COVID man who escaped prison 30 years ago in Grafton has finally handed himself back into police because he didn't have any money, he didn't have anywhere to live, so he goes, well, I'm going to get 3 squares a day and a roof over my head. He's gone back to prison after escaping 30 years ago. That came out this week. I think that is unbelievable. Plus, in the bizarre but true section of this podcast that we're going to do this evening, a man has been sentenced for injecting women with semen.
What?
And you won't know exactly how he has done it until we get to that. It's not the traditional way that you would do it. However, that's coming up on The Burble.
The Burble.
This is gonna be good.
With Benny and Az.
As police, now look, we talked about common sense. Last week you said when you buy a car these days, it actually has printed in the manual, don't drink the battery acid, okay?
Yeah.
You got to put those things out there. Now, police must be absolutely beside themselves, especially in Wales, due to the fact that it must be very difficult for a police dispatch officer to fire out all those names of towns, because all it is just, it's like drunk people talking in tongues. That's what they call towns over there.
Yeah, Wales is the hardest language to learn.
My goodness. You've been there too, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple of times, actually. I really like it over there. It's nice.
All right. So police have had to waste their time and issue a warning to shops to beware of selling baked beans to children. You may be asking why, but it follows the rise of a bizarre TikTok trend which has seen videos posted on social media with the hashtag Bean Bandits. Now, what do you think? What do you think, Jenna, I'll ask you this question first. What do you think beaning is? That's the new craze currently on TikTok. What do you think it is? Without looking at it, what do you think that is?
I've kind of gone straight to the toilet and thinking it's some kind of sharting thing.
Yeah, could be. Az, what about yourself?
Oh, look, beaning. If it's anything to do with TikTok, it's usually putting something in somewhere. So, like, the Tide Pods, you had to eat a Tide Pod and die.
Yep.
So I'm assuming, like, is it maybe eating a shit ton of beans and farting or putting them in your bum or something like that?
No, actually, both of you are kind of way off. It's dumb. The videos show children smearing baked beans on people's driveways, their doors, and their cars. So, yeah, I know. Basically, a case of beaning. It's the new trend. And groups of youths are doing it.
It's just egging with a different product.
Yeah, well, that's true. Now, it involves them throwing the contents of the can of beans over properties, very similar to the trend of egging a car or something like that. So this is what police came out and said. If you work in a shop, can you please be aware of youths buying large quantities of cans of beans, baked beans? If you have children living at home, be mindful if you see them removing cans from the family home. I would probably say that, baked beans, weaponized like that.
That's a new phrase. I don't think anyone in the world has ever said weaponized baked beans before.
No, well, think about it. Think about it, because you can weaponize baked beans. Like, say, for example, you've got a foolhardy friend that likes to hit the piss too much. Maybe he's a little shorter than me. Doesn't really get on camp trips because, pussy's out and shit like that, and has to get taken by his mates to campsites because he doesn't have a vehicle that could access that. Just say that there was a person like that, right?
Right.
That you knew, okay?
Yeah, let's run with that.
Yeah, let's run with that. And then he hasn't been camping for a little while, and you decide to be a smart ass, get the can of baked beans and shove it in the fire there on his side of the fire, and he doesn't notice it until it explodes. And hot molten magma of baked beans showers all over him, and everyone else is just laughing at him. That's how you can weaponize it.
Or just eat a shit ton, and then, like, when someone's in their tent, run in, fart, and then, like, cable tie the zips together.
That's right. So they've got to stay in there. That's weaponizing baked beans.
That is weaponizing. Or actually putting 2 or 3 cans of baked beans in a pillowcase and flinging it around, like doorknobs in a sack.
So a little bit of jailhouse justice.
Yeah, jailhouse justice. Yeah, like, the bogan nunchucks and can of baked beans in a sock.
Well, anyway, look, the police basically launched an appeal after a village. Now, the village is called Wannerish. Hang on. Wannerish.
Hang on.
Wannerish. I'll say Wannerish.
Wannerish. It's not going to even be close to Wannerish. Oh, you could be.
It's probably got a silent X and about 3 number 6s in there or something like that.
No, there's more C's and W's in Welsh. It's all
oh, really?
Like a cat having a hairball, yeah. My brother-in-law lives in a place called Pontypridd. Oh, man, the spelling of it's just off its head, and it's got F's and CH's and all sorts in it, and it's Pontypridd. But it's not spelled Pontypridd. It's like, what the fuck? It's just like
that in itself is an episode of The Burble. You know what I mean? We can just ring Welsh people and go, what's your story? I mean, seriously, like, I know that you were born there and stuff. You didn't really have a choice in it, but what's the go? Like, why do you stay?
Well, pubs are nice. I think their pubs are open, actually. So Wales has got an advantage over us right now, man.
Now, what other canned vegetables, so to speak, could you weaponise, so to speak? Because, let's face it, my camping stuff, even speaking of camping, actually, my camping tub of food that I take, my little larder, so to speak, has a lot of canned stuff in there, and it's just good, you know, if you go, I want some taties with that, but I don't want to actually peel taties and wrap them in foil and put them in the fire and all that kind of thing, just a pot of mixed veg.
Have some green on your plate.
Have some green on your plate. But what other things, though, in a can could you weaponise? I guess I'm more asking around the fact of what's going to be the next TikTok online craze. We've had coning. We've had, what was the Tide Pod Challenge?
The Tide Pod Challenge.
What was the
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon Challenge. Yep, there's that one. What's going to be the next one? What do you reckon, Jenna? Because you keep up on the TikToks, and I know that you watch it mainly for the animal videos, but what do you think the next thing's going to be?
It's got to be something stupid about putting something on your face, I reckon. There's a few that I've seen of face masks and what you can make into face masks.
Yeah.
So people are using food contents and
to make a face mask.
Other substances, yeah.
To make a face mask. What, try to chuck a fucking Pro Hard or something?
They chuck it in like a little blender thing with, I don't know, some kind of tablet. See if it sets, and if it sets, they chuck it on their face and see what it does.
Right.
So it's a real gamble.
Right. I tell you what, for a lot of anti-vaxxers and these people that keep causing protests and shutdowns and shit like that, I've got a perfect face mask for them. It's called duct tape.
Or 2 cans in a sock.
2 cans in a sock, that could be good, yeah.
But I've got an idea. I think the next thing we should start on TikTok, Benny, right? We're going to get on there. We're going to do it. We're going to use beetroot in a can.
Beetroot?
Yeah, and then you just smear it all over everything because it leaves that red purplish stain. And you know what? We're going to call it rooting.
Right. Okay, so if you back Az's evil plan there to start the rooting trend on TikTok, feel free to get in touch with us at theburble.com.au.
This is The Burble with Benny and Az.
As I bring sad tidings, and normally I don't like to point this thing out because this is actually a tragedy. This isn't a nomination for the Darwin Awards or anything like that. A bloke in Canada has been crushed to death by his own vehicle in the Macca's drive-through. Police are describing this as tragic, and it is. Now, it happened in Vancouver. They confirmed that a bloke, 42 years old, same age as us, okay, married, father of 2. He leaned out of the vehicle to pick up an item that fell as he was trying to pay for his order at the drive-thru, which happens all the time. In fact, Jenna and I, last week, were behind a woman that did that. Remember that, Jenna? And then she was yelling at the person to go, well, I want the money and rah, rah, rah. I think that she was trying to fool her, that she actually gave her a 50 rather than a 20. But anyway. But then they went through and picked up 30 cents that they dropped. So they had to go through the drive-through and then wait for me to go through to come back through just to pick up their 30 cents. But anyway, he leaned out to pick up money, I think it was. The surveillance video has showed that when he opened his door to pick up the item, the vehicle rolled forward, colliding into a structural piece of the brightly coloured plastic restaurant, and the driver was unable to free himself from the vehicle. He was pinned between the door and the frame. So, yeah, it's tragic. So, heartbreaking scenario. Deepest condolences go out to his family for that. So that is, that's
terrible.
It is terrible. It is tragic.
So he got doored to death.
He got doored to death. That's exactly right. Now, listen to this. Over in the United States, though, so down south of the border from Canada, a McDonald's diner has been horrified as he finds a nipple in his bacon roll. And now he's now he's vowing to go vegan. He's found a swine nipple in his McDonald's meaty breakfast treat.
So it wasn't a human nipple?
Well, you can tell it's a swine nipple. I'm just looking at the pictures of it right now.
Oh, Jeez, it's hard to tell.
Well, you tell me that that's you think that that's a human nipple? You've got it up on your
No, it's
screen.
not a human nipple.
No.
I don't think it's a nipple at all.
Well,
I think it's a